to the continuation of your first day of second grade. I am so happy you're here, and I'm so thankful I got to see you on Zoom this morning. So we have 3 videos that you are going to watch today so we can make sure we get off our year to an awesome start. So, as you notice up here on our board in some fun little letters, it says, "Hey Super Scholars." That is what I call our class team all the time because our classroom is superhero themed because we have so many awesome superheroes in this class with so many great powers. So our team name is Super Scholars. And that might not be a term that you totally understand or have heard before. And that's okay because we are going to talk about it today. So today, our goal is I can begin to brainstorm, to think about what it means to be a super scholar. So we're just starting this journey today. It's just the beginning. It's going to take us for a couple weeks to really figure out as a class, what does it mean to us to be a super scholar? And we're going to be brainstorming. It's just the first stage. We're just thinking of all our ideas. So let's break it down a little bit. So the first word, super. The word super. What does super mean? When have you heard that word before? In what situation have you used super to describe something? Think about it. Super can mean fantastic or awesome, wonderful, excellent. There's so many words that we could go along with super. And we use this word because everybody in our class is super. Everybody in our class is excellent and awesome no matter what, just the way that God made them. So we definitely have to include super because we already are. And then the second word is scholar. This is probably a word that not many of you have heard before, and that's okay. Have you heard it before? What do you think it might mean? The word scholar. What do you think? So the word scholar usually applies to like an academic learning situation. But in a more general term, a scholar is someone who works hard every single day to be their best. They are always striving for excellence and they're always trying to be their best self. And a scholar doesn't mean that you're perfect right away. It means that you want to work to be better every single day no matter what happens. And that's what we do in this class. Everyone is a super scholar. We are all excellent at working to be our best selves every day. So, we're going to read this together. You can read it with me if you want. But this is what it means to be a super scholar. Someone who works hard to be their best self and learn all they can every single day. So this is what every single one of us is going to strive to do as a super scholar. And we're going to be talking about in the next couple weeks how exactly we be our best selves. What does it mean to be our best self? How can we learn everything we can every single day? What can we do as a class to support each other to all be a super scholar? And to get us started thinking about how we can do this, we are going to read the book, Stand Tall, Molly Lou Mellon. I love this book. This is actually the copy from when I was a kid. It's really old. I had to tape all the pages back together. But Molly Lou Mellon is going to teach us a little bit of how we can be a super scholar, how we can be our best selves no matter what anybody else says. So, we're going to head over to the library, read this book, and while we're reading, I want you to think about this question. How does Molly Lou Melon work to be her best self? How does Molly Lou Melon work to be her best self? That's the question that I want you to hold on to in your brains while we read this book. How does she do it? Okay, let's go over to the library. Okay, hey Super Scholars, we are now in our classroom library. So I'm over in this cozy little corner of our room where we have all these books that are just waiting for you guys to come and explore. So we are going to read Stand Tall, Molly Lou Melon. Remember, you're thinking about the question, how does Molly Lou Melon work to be her best self? Okay, here we go. Molly Lou Melon stood just taller than her dog and was the shortest girl in the first grade. She didn't mind. Her grandma had told her, "Walk as proudly as you can, and the world will look up to you." So she did. Molly Lou Melon had buck teeth that stuck out so far she could stack pennies on them. She didn't mind. Her grandma had told her, "Smile big, and the world will smile right alongside you." So she did. Molly Lou Melon had a voice that sounded like a bullfrog being squeezed by a boa constrictor. She didn't mind. Her grandma had told her, "Sing out clear and strong, and the world will cry tears of joy." So she did. Molly Lou Melon was often fumble-fingered. She didn't mind. Her grandma had told her, "Believe in yourself, and the world will believe in you too." So she did. Then Molly Lou Melon moved to a new town. She had to say goodbye to her grandma and all her friends. And start in a new school. On the first day of school, Ronald Durkin called her Shrimpo in gym class. When the game started, Molly Lou Melon caught the football, ran under the legs of Ronald Durkin, and scored a touchdown. All the children thought, "Wow, she's good." And Ronald Durkin felt very foolish. On the second day of school, Ronald Durkin called her Buckytooth Beaver. Molly Lou Melon took out her pennies, stacked 10 high on her teeth, and smiled as big as day. All the children smiled with glee, and Ronald Durkin felt very foolish. On the third day of school, Ronald Durkin said, "You sound like a sick duck. Honk, honk." Molly Lou Melon sang out a quack so clear and strong that it made Ronald Durkin somersault backwards, hit his head, and have to go to the nurse. All the children cried with joy to be free of Ronald Durkin for the rest of the afternoon, and Ronald Durkin felt very foolish. On the fourth day of school, Ronald Durkin said that she'd made the snowflake all wrong. But Molly Lou Mellon opened her paper and revealed the most beautiful snowflake of all. All the children oohed and awed, even Ronald. On the fifth day of school, Ronald Durkin brought Molly Lou Mellon a stacking penny for her tooth and smiled at her. That night, Molly Lou Mellon took out a pencil and paper and wrote a letter to her grandma. Dear Grandma, I wanted to tell you that everything you told me was exactly right. Love, Molly Lou Mellon. The end. I hope you enjoyed that book as much as I do. Let's head back to the board to talk about it. Okay, we're back from Read Aloud. We just got to hear all about Molly Lou Mellon and how pretty awesome she is. So, do you remember the question I was asking you to hold in your head? How does Molly Lou Mellon work to be her best self? Did you see some examples in the story? How did she do this? Molly Lou Mellon's pretty cool. She's pretty much fearless. She loves to be herself no matter what. So do you have any answers? How was she her best self? Think about it. And with our answers, we are going to respond using this sentence frame. Because whenever we are answering questions in second grade, we are always going to answer in a complete sentence. Because then that will help us with our writing. So, when we are thinking about answering the question, how does Molly Lou Mellon work to be her best self? We are going to answer by saying, Molly Lou Mellon works to be her best self by blank. This blank is where you are going to say your answer to the question of how Molly Lou Mellon is her best self. So for me, I'm going to answer the question by saying, Molly Lou Mellon works to be her best self by never letting what anyone else say get her down. So that's my answer to the question. Based on what I saw of how she reacted to the different situations, she never let anybody get her down. She was really confident. So now it's your turn to answer. You are going to take a video of yourself on Class Dojo answering this question with this sentence frame. There's no right or wrong answer. There's a million ways Molly Lou Mellon works to be her best self. And I want you to give me your unique answer. We're going to use these answers later when we talk about more about what it means to be a super scholar. Okay, so your job right now after the video is to use this sentence and talk about how Molly Lou Mellon is her best self. And your answer is going to go right here. You can give me examples. You can give me multiple ways. I want to hear everything you learned from Molly Lou Mellon in this story. Okay, I can't wait to hear what you learned from her. So take that video and let me see.